Family, listen closely, because what I'm about to share with you is not just another video, not just another set of words floating across a screen. This is a divine appointment. You didn't stumble onto this moment by accident. God Himself orchestrated this very encounter because He has something too big, too powerful, too life-changing to keep hidden any longer. There is a breakthrough unfolding right now, one so massive that it cannot be contained. The heavens are stirring and the currents of destiny are flooding into your life like a river breaking free from a dam. Imagine that unstoppable surge of water rushing into every dry place, carving out new paths where none existed before. That's what's happening spiritually for you in this very moment. You are not here by chance. Your soul has been called to this exact time. Maybe you've felt a gentle nudge in your spirit lately, a whisper in the quiet hours when no one else is around. Maybe you've noticed a pull deep inside that says, "There's more. Something bigger is waiting for me." Friend, that wasn't your imagination. That was God's signal, His confirmation that your appointed time is now. Think about all the nights you laid awake wondering if you were enough. Remember the times you faced rejection or wrestled with doubt or battled fear so strong that it felt like chains tightening around you. You might have asked, "Lord, why am I going through this? Why so many obstacles? Why does it feel like I'm being pressed on every side?" But let me tell you the truth. Those nights weren't wasted. Those struggles weren't punishment. They were preparing. Just like gold must pass through fire to shine, God was shaping you. Every tear you cried, every battle you endured, every unanswered question was forging you into someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient than you realized. When a seed is planted, it doesn't stay on the surface where everyone can see it. It goes down into the dark soil, hidden, pressed under the weight of the earth. To the natural eye, it looks forgotten. But deep beneath the surface, something powerful is happening. The seed is cracking open, roots are stretching, and life is preparing to break through. That's exactly what's been happening with you. The pressure you felt wasn't meant to destroy you. It was meant to prepare you for the moment when God's light would break through. And now that time has come. The veil is lifting. The season of waiting is shifting into a season of revelation. You are about to step into blessings and opportunities that go beyond survival. God has not called you to simply scrape by, to live small, or to feel forgotten. You are called to thrive, to shine, and to rise up as living proof that His promises never fail. But let me pause and ask you, do you believe that? Do you believe that your life, with all its twists and turns, its setbacks and scars, has been divinely aligned for this very moment? Because the truth is, heaven believes it. God believes it. And the angels are leaning in right now, waiting for your response. That's why I'm inviting you right here and right now to make a declaration of faith. Not just quietly in your heart, but boldly, publicly, as a way of saying, "I'm ready, Lord. I claim this breakthrough. I receive what you are unveiling." If this message is stirring your spirit, if you feel that confirmation deep in your soul, then pause for a second. Hit that like button, subscribe so you can walk this journey with thousands of other chosen souls, and type 777 the passant comments below. Those 3 numbers are not random. They are a prophetic sign, a declaration that you are stepping into completeness, divine alignment, and holy perfection. When you do that, you're not just clicking buttons, you're signaling to heaven itself. I am here, I am ready, I am standing in agreement with what God is doing. Now let's make this personal. Have you ever wondered why the road was so difficult? Why did you have to go through heartbreak, financial strain, or moments where you felt invisible? It's because God was setting the stage for something you could not yet see. Think about the story of Joseph. Betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, thrown into prison, forgotten by the very people he helped. Yet through it all, God was working behind the scenes. Every low point was part of the setup for the moment Joseph would rise to a position that saved nations. Your life has carried the same kind of divine strategy. Every setback you endured wasn't the end of your story, it was the foundation for a greater rise. You've been in training, chosen one, even when you didn't realize it. God has been aligning every piece, every relationship, every challenge to bring you to this turning point. So as we step into this message together, I want you to hold on to this truth. God can't keep this hidden any longer. The breakthrough is too big, the blessings too powerful, the purpose too undeniable. And you are the vessel He has chosen to carry it into the world. Let me ask you, are you ready? Are you ready to walk through the open doors, to claim the promises that were spoken over you before you were even born? Are you ready to let go of fear, doubt, and hesitation, and step boldly into the destiny God has written with your name on it? Because here's the reality: you were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to live a small, unnoticed life. You've always been marked, set apart, hand-picked by the Creator of the universe. That's why you felt different. That's why certain environments never fit you. That's why, even in your lowest moments, there was still a spark inside whispering, "Don't give up. Something greater is coming." Chosen one, that something greater is not far off anymore. It's here. The heavens are moving, the atmosphere is shifting, and God is saying, "This is your time." So as we begin this journey together in today's message, let's come into agreement with heaven. Take a moment, engage with this word, not just as a viewer, but as a participant. Like this video to release the energy of agreement into the world. Subscribe to stand shoulder to shoulder with thousands of chosen ones stepping into their divine inheritance. And type 777 inch the comments to seal your declaration. Lord, I'm ready. This is my moment. Because you are not here by accident. You are here by divine design. And your breakthrough is too big, too powerful, and too close to keep hidden any longer. Family, let's go deeper. Because if you've been wondering why life has felt so heavy, why the struggles seemed endless, and why it looked like breakthrough was always just out of reach, hear me clearly today. Those barriers are falling. Fear, lack, rejection, all the walls that once stood like giants in front of you are crumbling before the power of God's plan. Think about fear. How many times has fear whispered in your ear, "You can't do this. You're not strong enough. You're not good enough." Fear has a way of freezing us, of keeping us from stepping into the opportunities that God has already placed in front of us. But now that fear is losing its grip, it's like watching chains fall off your hands after years of being bound. God is saying, "No more. You are free to move forward." And what about lack? Maybe you've lived seasons where your resources felt too small, where the bills stacked up higher than your paycheck, where you felt like you'd never get ahead. Lack has a voice too. It tells you to settle, to stop dreaming, to accept a life of just enough. But the chosen one, that's not your portion. God is tearing down the walls of lack, opening doors of provision that go far beyond your imagination. His word reminds us that He is Jehovah Jireh, the God who provides, and when He opens the storehouses of heaven, no force on earth can close them. And then there's rejection. Oh, how painful that is. The people you thought would stand with you walked away. The opportunities you thought were yours slipped through your fingers. Rejection can cut so deep that it leaves scars you carry for years. But let me remind you of something. Man's rejection is often God's redirection. What looked like a closed door was really God steering you towards something greater, something designed specifically for you. And now those rejections are being rewritten as redemptions. The very places you were once overlooked, God is about to highlight you. Picture this with me. Imagine a massive dam holding back gallons and gallons of water. For years, that water has been pressing against the wall, building pressure, waiting for the moment to break free. And when the dam finally bursts, the water doesn't ask permission. It doesn't trickle out politely. It surges forward with unstoppable force, carving out new paths, flooding valleys, reshaping landscapes. That's what's happening in your life right now. The barriers that held you back are breaking, and God's blessings are rushing in like a flood you can't contain. Let me ask you, can you feel it? Deep down, can you sense that shift? Maybe things don't look different yet on the outside. Maybe you're still staring at the same challenges, the same bank account, the same medical report, the same strained relationship. But in the spiritual realm, the dam has already broken. Heaven has already declared your breakthrough, and what God has spoken in the spirit will manifest in the natural because His word never returns void. This breakthrough isn't just about one area of your life. It's touching everything. Your finances are about to be reordered. Where there was debt, there will be provision. Where there was lack, there will be overflow. Your health is about to shift. Where there was weakness, there will be strength. Where there was sickness, there will be healing. Your relationships are about to be renewed. Where there was loneliness, there will be connection. Where there was heartbreak, there will be restoration. But here's the part that makes this so much bigger than you. This breakthrough isn't just for your benefit. It's a display of God's glory. When people look at you, they will see more than just someone who got lucky. They will see the fingerprints of God. They will see a testimony that can't be explained by human logic. They'll see joy where there used to be sorrow, peace where there used to be chaos, confidence where there used to be fear. And they'll ask, what changed? And you'll be able to say, it was God. It was His hand, His plan, His timing. This is how God works. He takes the very areas where you felt weakest, the very areas where you thought you had failed, and He turns them into the greatest testimonies of His power. Think about Paul in the New Testament. He begged God to take away the thorn in his flesh, but God told him, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." Your weaknesses are about to showcase His strength. Maybe right now you're thinking, but I haven't seen it yet. I don't see the breakthrough. I don't feel the change. That's okay. Breakthrough often begins before we can see it with our natural eyes. It starts in the spirit. Just like a seed planted underground, it takes time before the sprout breaks through the soil. But that doesn't mean nothing is happening. In fact, the most critical growth is happening in the unseen places. And I believe that's why God has been preparing you so carefully. Every detail of your life, every step of your journey has been orchestrated by His hand. Even the moments that didn't make sense, the seasons where you felt lost or forgotten, He was aligning everything for this moment. Nothing was wasted. Every tear, every disappointment, every prayer you thought went unanswered, they were all part of the preparation. Let me share this perspective. Sometimes we think we're waiting on God, but in reality, God is waiting on us. Waiting until our character matches our calling. Waiting until we've been refined enough to carry the weight of the blessing. Waiting until we're strong enough to handle the overflow without it crushing us. Friend, the waiting season was never wasted. It was the training ground for your destiny. So now, here you are standing on the edge of a breakthrough. The walls of fear, lack, and rejection are falling. The dam has broken, and the flood of God's provision, healing, and restoration is rushing toward you. But here's the question: are you ready to receive it? Are you ready to walk boldly into what God has been preparing all along? Because breakthrough doesn't just happen to you, it happens through you. It requires your agreement, your faith, your willingness to step out and claim it. Let me make it practical. If God blesses your finances, will you use that provision to bless others? If He restores your health, Will you use that renewed strength to serve him with all your heart? If he heals your relationships, will you allow that testimony to point at others to his goodness? This breakthrough is not just about making your life easier, it's about making your life a living testament of his glory. So as you listen to this, don't just let the words wash over you. Engage with this truth. Say it out loud. My breakthrough is here. The walls are falling, the flood is coming, and it's all for God's glory. And just like I said earlier, I want you to act on this word. If this message is speaking to your soul, if you know deep down that God is preparing something big for you, pause right now. Hit that like button as your declaration of agreement. Subscribe so you can walk this journey with thousands of other chosen ones who are stepping into the same divine season. And type 777-inch the comments to declare, I'm ready, I'm walking into my breakthrough. Because you chose one, this moment isn't just about you. It's about what God wants to do through you. Your breakthrough is going to inspire others. Your testimony is going to ignite faith in people who had almost given up. Your story is going to shine as a beacon of God's faithfulness. So, lift your head, take a deep breath, and prepare your heart, because the floodgates of heaven are open, and God is saying, it's time, the breakthrough is here. Step into it and give me the glory. Family, let's take this even deeper, because I know many of you have asked this question in the quiet of your heart. Why did I have to go through so much pain? Why did I have to carry so many burdens? Why did God let me walk through nights filled with fear, seasons filled with struggle, and days where I felt like I couldn't go on? Here's the truth. None of it was wasted. Every trial you faced, every tear you cried, every setback you endured, it was all part of a divine process. God has been using those trials not to crush you, but to prepare you, not to destroy you, but to shape you into someone capable of carrying the weight of the destiny he has planned. Think of a seed buried deep in the soil. From the outside, it looks forgotten, hidden under dirt and darkness. But inside that seed, something miraculous is happening. The pressure of the soil, the weight above it, is actually pushing the roots deeper, giving it the strength it will need to grow tall. Without that season, underground, without that pressure, the seed could never become what it was destined to be. Chosen one, that's been your life. Those seasons where you felt buried, you weren't buried, you were planted. You weren't forgotten, you were being prepared. The pressure you felt was actually positioning you for growth. The weight that seemed unbearable was building your spiritual muscles so you could stand strong when the breakthrough arrived. Think back for a moment. Remember those financial struggles that kept you awake at night. You wondered how the bills would get paid, how you would make it through. And yet here you are. You survived. God provided, maybe not in the way you expected, but he always came through. And those nights built something inside you, faith that God is your provider, faith that lack will never define your future. What about your health battles? Maybe you walked through a season of sickness, fatigue, or even fear of the unknown. Those moments tested you, stretched you, made you lean on God in ways you never had before. But you know what else they did? They revealed his sustaining power. They taught you that even in weakness, his strength is made perfect. And let's not forget the relationships that broke your heart, the betrayals, the rejections, the loneliness. Oh, how those seasons cut deep. But do you see what God was doing? He was removing the people who couldn't go where you're going. He was clearing out relationships that would have held you back, so he could align you with divine connections, people who will walk with you into this new season. That's why I say again, none of it was wasted. The struggles didn't break you, they built you. The doubts didn't disqualify you, they refined you. The tears you cried weren't in vain, they watered the soil of your destiny. Every single trial has been laying the foundation for what God is about to do next. Picture this. A house being torn down to its very foundation. To the natural eye, it looks like destruction, dust, rubble, emptiness. But to the builder, it's an opportunity, because the old structure couldn't hold what's coming next. The builder isn't tearing it down to leave it empty. He's preparing to build something bigger, stronger, and more glorious than before. That's what God has been doing in your life. He's been stripping away what couldn't support your calling, tearing down what wasn't stable, removing what couldn't last. And now he's rebuilding from the ground up. He's not patching up your life with quick fixes. He's reconstructing it into something that will stand as a testimony of his glory. And here's what makes it even more powerful. When people look at you in this new season, they won't just see someone who made it. They'll see someone transformed. They'll notice the way you carry yourself with confidence you didn't have before. They'll see the way your eyes shine with purpose, the way your steps are guided by unshakable faith. They'll ask, what happened to you? How did you change? And you'll be able to answer with one simple truth. It was God. He rebuilt me. Let me give you an example from Scripture. Think about Job. He lost everything, his wealth, his health, even the support of those closest to him. To the world, it looked like God had abandoned him. But Job's trials were not the end of his story. They were the foundation for restoration. When the season shifted, God gave Job back double what he had lost. His trials positioned him for a testimony that still inspires millions today. That's the same God working in your life. The same God who turned Job's pain into purpose is turning your scars into stories of victory. The same God who brought Joseph from the pit to the palace, who brought David from the pasture to the throne, who brought Esther from obscurity to royalty, that God is preparing you through your trials for something greater than you've ever imagined. But here's the key. You have to see your trials differently. Stop looking at them as punishments and start seeing them as preparation. Stop asking, why me? And start asking, Lord, what are you building in me through this? Because once you shift your perspective, you'll realize that every challenge has been a stepping stone. Every hardship has been part of the blueprint. Every setback has been setting you up for a comeback. Now, let me ask you a question. What if the very thing you've been praying for requires the strength you only gained from your trials? What if the dream you're about to step into would have crushed you a few years ago, but now, because of everything you've walked through, you're strong enough to carry it? Doesn't that change how you see your past? Friend, God has been preparing you meticulously. Nothing slipped through his fingers. Nothing caught him by surprise. He's been aligning every detail, orchestrating every step, so that when your breakthrough comes, and it's coming, you'll be ready to receive it and to carry it well. And here's something I want you to remember. Your breakthrough isn't just about what you gain, it's about what you reflect on. God doesn't just want to bless you, he wants to make you a blessing. Your life is about to become living proof that his promises are real, that his power is limitless, that his glory is undeniable. So let me challenge you right now. Don't despise the trials. Don't curse the process. Thank God for the preparation, because those trials were never meant to bury you, they were meant to build you. And the foundation they created is strong enough to carry the weight of the blessings that are on their way. If this word is speaking to you, if you're starting to see your trials through new eyes, then I want you to pause for a moment. Hit that like button as your declaration of gratitude. Subscribe so you can keep walking this journey with thousands of other chosen ones who are learning to see God's hand in every part of their story. And type 777 inch the comments to declare, my trials are my foundation. My pain is turning into purpose. My breakthrough is here. Because chosen one, what's coming next is bigger than anything you've lost, stronger than anything you've endured, and more glorious than anything you've imagined. God is saying, the foundation is set. The time is now. Step into what I've prepared for you. Family, if part 1 showed us that the walls are falling, and part 2 reminded us that every trial was actually a foundation, then part 3 is where we begin to see just how massive God's movement truly is. Because here's the truth, when God moves, He doesn't move halfway. He doesn't sprinkle blessings like raindrops. He pours them out like a flood. His scale is beyond what human minds can comprehend, and His transformation touches every corner of your life. Think about this: when God speaks, oceans part. When He moves, mountains shake. And when He calls you His chosen one, the entire universe bends in alignment to make His plan unfold. That's not an exaggeration, that's the reality of His power. You are not just one person in a sea of faces. You are a vessel, a chosen instrument carrying His glory into the world. Now let me ask you, how many dreams have you tucked away because they felt too big? How many ideas have you silenced because they seemed impossible? How many times have you thought, "That's not for me. I'm not qualified. I don't have what it takes, chosen one"? Those dreams weren't random. They were planted in you by the Creator of the universe. And here's the good news: what you thought was too big is just the beginning for God. Let's go back to Scripture. Think about Joseph again. Betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, thrown into prison, his story looked like tragedy. It looked like his dreams of leadership and greatness were over. But in the shadows, God was writing something Joseph couldn't see yet. And when the timing was right, Joseph didn't just survive, he soared. He became the second most powerful man in Egypt, positioned to save entire nations from famine. Do you see the pattern? What looks like an ending to man is just the setup for a grand unveiling from God. And that's what's happening in your life. The lows you faced were never the final chapter. They were the groundwork for a rise so dramatic, so undeniable, that it will leave people in awe. Let me illustrate it this way. Imagine a caterpillar. For much of its life, it crawls slowly on the ground, limited, vulnerable, overlooked. Then comes the cocoon, the dark, confined, lonely place where transformation takes place. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. But inside, an entirely new creature is being formed. And when the time comes, that cocoon breaks open, and what once crawled now soars as a butterfly. That's you, chosen one. You've had your crawling seasons. You've endured your cocoon seasons, dark, hidden, painful. But now the transformation is here. And when you emerge, you won't look like what you've been through. You'll be radiant, powerful, unstoppable. This transformation will touch every area of your life. Your finances are about to shift. Where there was lack, there will be abundance. Not just barely enough, but overflow resources so great that you will not only meet your needs, but also bless others. Your health is about to be renewed. Vitality is returning. Energy you thought you had lost is being restored. Your relationships are being realigned. Toxic connections are being removed, and divine partnerships are being brought in to walk beside you in this next season. But here's the beauty of it all. This transformation isn't just about what you receive, it's about what you reflect. When people look at you, they will see something they can't explain. They'll see peace that holds steady in chaos, strength that doesn't waver under pressure, joy that radiates even in the midst of trials. Your life will become a mirror of God's goodness, a living testimony that His promises are not just words on a page, they're realities unfolding in the lives of His chosen ones. Think about David. To the world, he was just a shepherd boy with a slingshot. But to God, he was already a king in the making. When he faced Goliath, everyone else saw a boy outmatched by a giant. But God saw destiny. That stone in David's hand wasn't just a weapon, it was a symbol of faith. And with one throw, the giant fell, and David stepped into the beginning of his transformation from shepherd to king. What giants are you facing right now? Debt, fear, insecurity, a dream that feels too impossible. Whatever it is, God is handing you the stone. He's giving you the courage, the tools, and the opportunity to take down what once looked undefeatable. And when that giant falls, your transformation will be undeniable. But let's pause here, because I want you to really feel the weight of what God is doing. This isn't just about blessings, this is about legacy. What God is releasing into your life isn't just for today, it's for generations to come. The transformation He's bringing will echo through your family line, shaping futures, changing communities, and inspiring countless others. Think about Abraham. His faith didn't just change his life, it birthed a nation. His obedience to God created a ripple effect that we're still talking about thousands of years later. That's the scale of what God wants to do with you. Your yes to Him today isn't just about your life, it's about the lives of those who will come after you. So here's the challenge. Can you surrender to the scale of His plan? Because sometimes transformation requires us to let go of our own small ideas of what life should look like. Sometimes we have to release our doubts, our fears, our need for control, and simply trust that God's vision is greater than ours. It's not about striving, it's about surrendering. It's not about trying harder, it's about trusting deeper. Because the transformation God is bringing is not something you can manufacture. It's something you step into by faith. Now, let me make it practical. How will this transformation show up in your daily life? That new job or promotion, it won't just be a paycheck. It will be a platform to demonstrate God's faithfulness. That restored relationship, it won't just be about healing your heart. It will be a testimony that points others to God's power to restore. That dream you've been afraid to pursue, it won't just be personal success. It will be proof that when God plants a vision in your heart, He equips you to fulfill it. Chosen one, your life is about to become a beacon, a light so bright that people can't help but notice. They'll be drawn to you not because of you, but because of the God shining through you. And your transformation will be the evidence they need to believe that miracles are real, that hope is alive, that God is moving. So, as we stand in this moment, I want you to do more than listen. I want you to declare your faith. If this message is stirring your spirit, pause right now. Hit that like button as your act of agreement. Subscribe to join thousands of chosen ones stepping into this same season of divine transformation. And type 777 in the comments as your public declaration. Lord, I receive this transformation. I step into your plan. I surrender to the scale of what you're doing in my life. Because this moment is too big to ignore. God is moving in ways you can't see yet, but you will. And when you do, it will be greater, grander, and more glorious than anything you ever dared to dream. So lift your eyes, chosen one. The giants are falling. The flood is rising. The transformation is unfolding. And the scale of God's glory in your life is too powerful, too undeniable, too extraordinary to stay hidden any longer. Family, now that we've talked about the walls falling, the foundation of trials, and the massive transformation God is bringing, let's shift into something just as important: responsibility and influence. Because here's the truth: when God blesses you, when He pours His favor and abundance into your life, it's never just for you. It's always for His glory, and it's always meant to impact the people around you. Let's be real. Sometimes we think breakthrough is just about getting what we've been praying for. We think it's about the money, the healing, the open door, the new relationship. And yes, God absolutely cares about those things. He delights in blessing His children. But His vision for you is so much bigger than your personal comfort. His blessing carries a purpose. His breakthrough comes with a mantle, and that mantle is responsibility. Think about Moses standing at the edge of the Red Sea. The Israelites were panicking, the Egyptian army was closing in, and the sea stretched out in front of them. It looked impossible. And what did God tell Moses? He didn't say, "Stand back and watch." He said, "Raise your staff. Stretch out your hand over the sea and divide the water so the Israelites can go through." In other words, Moses, I'm giving you the responsibility to act. My power will move through you, but you must step up in faith. That's what God is saying to you today. The sea in front of you, the obstacle, the challenge, the barrier, it's not going to move until you step into your responsibility as a chosen one. God has placed authority in your hands. He has equipped you with the tools you need. He's already gone ahead of you to make the way clear. But He's asking you to raise your staff, to take that step, to act in faith. And here's why your breakthrough is not just your story, it's a testimony for others. When God delivers you, heals you, provides for you, people will see it. They'll see the change in your life, the confidence in your steps, the glow in your spirit. And they'll wonder, what's different about them? That's your influence. That's your opportunity to point back to God and say, "It wasn't me, it was Him." Let's bring this even closer to home. Maybe you've been praying for financial provision. And when that provision comes, what will you do with it? Will you just use it to get more comfortable? Or will you use part of it to bless someone else, to feed the hungry, to help a neighbor in need, to support the work of God's kingdom? Because that's the responsibility attached to your blessing. Maybe you're believing in healing in your body. And when that healing comes, will you keep it quiet? Or will you share your testimony with someone else who's struggling, giving them hope that God can heal them too? That's the influence. That's turning your breakthrough into a beacon of encouragement for others. Or maybe God is about to open doors in your career, bringing you into rooms you never thought you'd enter. That opportunity isn't just for your success, it's for impact. It's so you can carry God's presence into those spaces, so you can shine His light in environments that desperately need it. This is why I always say, blessings are never meant to stop with you, they are meant to flow through you. You are not a reservoir, you are a river. What God pours in is meant to flow out. Your abundance becomes someone else's answered prayer. Your healing becomes someone else's hope. Your testimony becomes someone else's reason to believe. Let me ask you this, who in your life needs to see God's glory through you? Maybe it's your family who's been watching you struggle and is about to witness your rise. Maybe it's your friends who don't yet believe in God, but will see undeniable proof in your transformation. Maybe it's a stranger you haven't even met yet, whose life will be changed by your obedience. Think about Joseph again. When he finally stepped into his breakthrough, becoming ruler in Egypt, it wasn't just about his personal vindication. It wasn't just about proving his brothers wrong. His position was a responsibility. Because of Joseph's faithfulness, nations were saved from famine. That's the kind of influence God wants to give you, not just enough for you, but enough to overflow into others' lives. And let's not forget Esther. She didn't seek the throne, but when God placed her there, it wasn't for her comfort or her luxury, it was for responsibility. She was there for such a time as this, to use her influence to save her people. And when the moment came, she didn't shrink back. She stepped up, even at the risk of her own life. That's the weight of responsibility. That's the call of influence. Chosen one, you are stepping into that same kind of moment. God is blessing you, yes, but He's also entrusting you. He's handing you the mantle to carry His light into a dark world, to use your influence for kingdom impact, to be a living, breathing example of His power. Now, I know this can feel overwhelming. Maybe you're thinking, who am I to influence others? I'm just trying to keep my own life together. But let me remind you of this. Influence isn't about being perfect, it's about being faithful. Responsibility doesn't mean you have to have all the answers. It means you're willing to say yes when God calls. And here's the beautiful part. You don't carry this responsibility alone. God equips those He calls. He gives strength to the weary, wisdom to the uncertain, courage to the fearful. If He's placing responsibility on you, it's because He's already placed His Spirit within you. You are not walking into this next season empty-handed. You're walking in with divine authority, supernatural backing, and heavenly resources. So let me challenge you. As your breakthrough comes, ask yourself, how can I use this blessing to glorify God? How can I let this testimony touch someone else's life? How can I carry this mantle with humility and impact? Because your breakthrough is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of your influence. Now I want to bring this back to you directly. If you're ready to not only receive God's blessing but also carry the responsibility that comes with it, I want you to make that declaration. Take a moment right now, hit that like button as your agreement with heaven. Subscribe so you can stand shoulder to shoulder with thousands of other chosen ones stepping into their mantle of influence. And type 777 inch the comments as your declaration. I receive the responsibility. I will carry the blessing. I will be a vessel of influence for God's glory. Because chosen one, the world needs what God is doing in you. Your success isn't just about you. It's about the lives that will be lifted when you rise. Your healing isn't just for your body, it's for the people who will see your testimony and find hope. Your abundance isn't just for your comfort, it's for the communities you will bless. God is saying, I am entrusting you. I am placing a mantle on your shoulders. Walk in it boldly, carry it faithfully, and watch how your influence multiplies for my glory. So lift your head, chosen one. Step into your blessing with gratitude. Step into your responsibility with courage. Step into your influence with humility. Because this isn't just about you rising, it's about you lifting others as you rise. It's about turning your breakthrough into a light that guides countless others toward the God who never fails. This is your time. This is your mantle. This is your responsibility. And the influence God is giving you will change not only your life, but the world around you. Family, now that we've seen how breakthrough leads to responsibility and influence, I want to talk about something even more personal, something that's been inside of you all along, the fire within. Because before you ever saw blessings, before you ever carried responsibility, before anyone else recognized your calling, God placed a spark inside of you. And today, that spark is about to become a blazing fire. Let me ask you, have you always felt different? Have you ever sensed deep down that you were made for more? That no matter how hard you tried, you just couldn't blend in with everyone else? That wasn't an accident. That was God's voice whispering to your soul. You are chosen. You are set apart. You are destined for something greater. That quiet spark, that restlessness in your spirit, that refusal to settle that's divine. It's not random. It's the fire of purpose, the heat of destiny, the power of God Himself burning inside you. But here's the thing about fire, it's tested. Fires are often attacked by winds, storms, and even attempts to snuff them out. And I know you've had moments where it felt like your light was about to go out. Times when circumstances, heartbreak, or the opinions of others tried to dim your flame. Maybe people mocked you, saying, "You're dreaming too big." Maybe situations told you, "Give up, you'll never make it." Maybe the enemy himself whispered, "You're not enough." And yet here you are. The fire may have flickered, but it never went out. Why? Because God Himself lit it. And no storm, no devil, no circumstance can extinguish what He has ignited. Think about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace. King Nebuchadnezzar tried to destroy them with fire, but instead the fire revealed God's presence. They weren't burned, they were promoted. The very flames meant to kill them became the stage for God's glory. That's what your trials have done. They didn't destroy your fire, they intensified it. They revealed the God who walks with you in the heat of battle. And now, chosen one, that fire is ready to blaze brighter than ever. It's not just a flame for survival, it's a torch to light the way for others. Because here's the truth, your fire isn't just for you, it's for every person God will place in your path. Think about it. People who are lost will see your hope and find direction. People who are broken will feel your strength and find healing. People who have given up will watch your story and find courage to try again. You are not just carrying a spark, you are carrying a torch, and God is using you to ignite the hearts of others. But let me ask you, what are you doing with that fire? Are you feeding it with faith, prayer, and the Word of God? Or are you letting the distractions of this world try to smother it? Because here's what I know: whatever you feed grows. Feed your fears and fear grows. Feed your doubts and doubt grows. But feed your fire, feed it with worship, with scripture, with surrender, and it will blaze so brightly that nothing can put it out. And don't miss this fire isn't small. It's too big, too divine, too fierce to be contained. It's the kind of fire that moves nations, shifts atmospheres, and transforms communities. The dreams you've been carrying, the visions you've seen in your quiet moments, they're not fantasies. They're glimpses of the fire God has placed in you, waiting for the right time to be revealed. Maybe you've dreamed of starting that business. Maybe you've seen yourself writing that book, stepping on that stage, creating that ministry, or launching that idea that feels too big. Friend, that's not just your imagination, that's the fire speaking. And God is saying, it's time. Stop doubting, stop waiting. Feed the fire and step into it. Let me give you another example. Think of Esther. She didn't seek out the throne. She was an ordinary woman, placed in extraordinary circumstances. But when the moment came, she had a choice: shrink back in fear or step forward in fire. And because she chose courage, an entire nation was saved. You are in an Esther moment right now. The fire inside you is rising, and it's calling you to step into places you never thought you'd go, to influence people you never thought you'd meet, to carry out assignments you never thought you could handle. Chosen one, you are not ordinary. That restlessness in your spirit is proof. That sense of purpose that won't let you quit is proof. That fire is proof. You are chosen, and God is about to use your fire to change the world around you. Now let's make this practical. What does this fire look like in everyday life? It looks like courage when everyone else is afraid. It looks like faith when others are doubting. It looks like kindness when the world is cold. It looks like perseverance when everyone else is quitting. Your fire is not just passion, it's perseverance. It's not just excitement, it's endurance. It's what keeps you standing when others fall. And here's the most beautiful part: the more you walk in that fire, the more contagious it becomes. People will feel it when they're around you. They'll sense something different in your presence. Your words will carry weight. Your actions will inspire change. Your very life will testify that God is real, that His Spirit burns within His chosen ones. But with fire also comes responsibility. Fire can warm, but it can also destroy. That's why you must handle it with wisdom. God is calling you to steward your fire, to use it not for pride or selfish gain, but for His glory. To use it to build, not to burn down. To use it to heal, not to harm. To use it to light the way, not to blind. And here's my challenge to you today: don't hide your fire. Don't dim it to make others comfortable. Don't apologize for being different, for being called, for being chosen. Jesus said in Matthew 5:1-4, You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. That's you. You're not meant to blend in. You're meant to shine. So let me ask you again, what are you doing with your fire? Are you letting it blaze for the world to see? Or are you keeping it tucked away, afraid of what people might think? Chosen one, this is not the time to hide. This is the time to burn. If this message is stirring something in your spirit, if you feel that fire inside of you awakening even as you hear these words, then I want you to take action. Hit that like button as your declaration. My fire will not be hidden. Subscribe to join thousands of other chosen ones walking boldly in their purpose. And type 777 inch the comments as your proclamation, I am burning with God's fire. I am ready to shine. Because this fire isn't just about your destiny, it's about the people who will find hope in your light. It's about the lost souls who will find direction because of your flame. It's about the broken hearts that will find healing because you refuse to quit. So feed your fire, protect your fire, steward your fire, and let it blaze so brightly that the world can't help but see the God who lit it inside of you. Chosen one, your fire is not small. It's not weak. It's not fading. It is divine. It is eternal. And it is ready to light up the world. Family, we've talked about the fire within you. Now let's talk about what happens when that fire begins to move, when it starts opening divine doors and opportunities that no one can shut. Because chosen one, I need you to hear me clearly. In this season, God is not just giving you a spark. He is positioning you in front of doors that were handcrafted by His hand doors, that will lead you into places you never imagined. You see, opportunities in life come in many forms. Some are man-made, temporary, fleeting doors that open and close, depending on who likes you, who favors you, or who thinks you're worthy. But divine doors, oh, they're different. Divine doors are designed by the Creator of the universe. They're not based on your resume, your qualifications, or even your connections. They are based on God's will and His perfect timing. And here's the truth, when God opens a door, no man, no devil, no system can shut it. Revelation 3:8 says, "See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut." That's His promise. And right now I believe that open door is standing in front of you. But here's the thing about doors, they require you to move. They require you to step forward. You can't just stand in front of a door and wish it would take you somewhere. You've got to walk through it. And walking through divine doors takes courage, because often they lead into places that feel bigger than you. Maybe the door God is opening looks like a new career opportunity, something that stretches you beyond your comfort zone. Maybe it's a relationship that feels unfamiliar, but has the potential to change your future. Maybe it's a ministry, a business, a dream you've been too afraid to pursue. Whatever it is, I want you to know this. If God opened it, He has already equipped you to walk through it. Think about Esther again. She didn't plan to become queen. She didn't scheme her way into the palace. God opened that door. But when the moment came, she had to decide whether to step through it. She had to face fear, risk everything, and walk into the throne room uninvited. And because she did, an entire nation was saved. Think about Noah, building an ark when the world called him crazy. That was a divine door. It didn't look glamorous, it didn't look logical, but obedience to that opportunity saved not only his family, but the future of humanity. Think about Peter. Jesus called him to step out of the boat and onto the water. That was a divine door. It didn't make sense. It defied the laws of nature. But as long as Peter kept his eyes on Jesus, he walked on water. Do you see the pattern? Divine doors don't always look safe. They don't always look logical, but they always lead to destiny. Now I know what some of you are thinking, but what if I fail? What if I walk through the door and it doesn't work out? Friend, hear me. You cannot fail when you're walking in God's will. Even what looks like a setback will turn into a setup. Even what looks like a detour will become part of the destination. If the door is from Him, your job is not to figure out every detail, it's to trust and step. And here's something else I need you to catch. Not every door is your door. Some opportunities may look good but aren't God. That's why discernment is so important. You've got to pray, seek His guidance, and ask, Lord, is this from you? Is this the door you want me to walk through? Because the enemy loves to present counterfeit doors, doors that look shiny but lead to dead ends. But when the Holy Spirit gives you peace, when the opportunity aligns with God's word and your purpose, you'll know, this is my door. Let me ask you this. How many doors has God placed in front of you that you've been too afraid to open? How many opportunities have you passed by because you didn't feel ready, didn't feel worthy, didn't feel qualified? Chosen one, it's time to stop hesitating. You are ready not because of your own strength, but because God has prepared you. And here's the beautiful thing, when you walk through a divine door, it doesn't just bless you, it blesses everyone connected to you. Your obedience becomes the catalyst for someone else's breakthrough. Your courage becomes the spark for someone else's faith. Your yes creates ripples that go far beyond your life. That's why God can't keep these doors hidden any longer. The world needs what's on the other side of your obedience. Your story is too powerful to stay in the shadows. Your testimony is too important to stay locked away. The door is open now, it's time to step through. Picture this with me. Imagine walking down a long hallway. Along the way, you see closed doors, opportunities that slipped by, seasons that ended, relationships that didn't work out. You might be tempted to focus on those doors, to mourn what you lost, to wonder what could have been. But at the end of the hallway, you see it, an open door glowing with light, calling you forward. That's the door God has prepared. That's the one that matters. And everything in your life so far has been leading you right to it. So let me challenge you, don't waste another moment staring at closed doors. Don't let regret or fear keep you stuck in the hallway. Lift your head, fix your eyes on the open door, and walk through it with faith. Because here's what's waiting on the other side: provision, purpose, partnership, peace. On the other side is the life you were created to live. On the other side is the destiny God wrote for you before you were born. Now let's get practical. When you walk through divine doors, you're going to feel resistance. Don't be surprised if the enemy tries to whisper lies. Don't be surprised if people question your choices. Don't be surprised if fear tries to creep back in. But remember, this resistance is often the greatest confirmation that the door is divine. If it wasn't threatening the enemy, he wouldn't fight it. So when the resistance comes, don't turn back. Press forward. Keep walking. Keep trusting. Because the same God who opened the door will walk with you through it. And here's what I want you to do right now. If you know God has placed a door in front of you, if you feel in your spirit that He's calling you to step into something new, I want you to declare it. Hit that like button as your act of faith. Subscribe to walk this journey with thousands of chosen ones stepping through their doors. And type 777 inch the comments as your public declaration. I am walking through my divine doors. I am ready for the opportunities God is placing before me. Chosen one, this is not the time to hesitate. This is the time to move. Because the doors God is opening in this season are not small. They are not ordinary. They are extraordinary, and they are tailor-made for you. So step forward, take a deep breath, and walk boldly through the doors your Father has opened. Because what's on the other side will change not only your life, but the lives of everyone around you. The doors are open, the opportunities are here, And God is saying, step through, chosen one. It's time. Family, we've talked about the fire within you and the divine doors God is opening before you. Now let's talk about what you need in order to actually walk through those doors with confidence. Because chosen one, when God calls you into a new season, He doesn't just throw you into it blindly. He equips you with 3 powerful gifts that will guide you every step of the way: clarity, strength, and peace. Let's start with clarity. How many times have you walked through life unsure of what to do next? You felt like you were wandering in fog, asking questions like, Lord, is this really your plan? Should I go left or right? Should I wait or should I move? We've all been there. But the good news is this: God is not the author of confusion. When He calls you, He gives clarity. Think about Saul on the road to Damascus. He was blinded by a heavenly light, and in that moment of encounter with Jesus, his entire direction changed. He went from persecuting the church to becoming one of its greatest apostles. That's clarity. God gave him a vision so sharp, so undeniable, that it changed the entire trajectory of his life. Chosen one. That's what God is doing for you right now. He's peeling back the fog that clouded your path. He's giving you eyes to see the road ahead, ears to hear His instructions, and a heart to understand His timing. And this clarity isn't just about knowing what to do, it's about knowing who you are. You are not lost. You are not wandering. You are a chosen one with a purpose etched in eternity. And here's the powerful thing. When you gain clarity, fear begins to lose its grip, because nothing is more paralyzing than uncertainty. But once you know, once you see the vision clearly, you can move with boldness. Imagine walking into a dark room where you can't see anything. Every step feels risky, hesitant, but then someone turns on the light and suddenly everything is clear. That's what God's clarity does. It turns on the light. But clarity alone isn't enough. That's why God also gives you strength. And I'm not talking about human strength, the kind that runs out when life gets tough. I'm talking about supernatural strength, the kind that anchors you when storms rage, the kind that carries you when your own legs feel too weak. Think about Isaiah 4:031. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. That's not poetic fluff, that's a divine promise. God's strength will sustain you when yours is gone. Let me give you a picture. A tree in a storm bends under the weight of the wind, but it doesn't break. Why? Because its roots go deep. The strength is not in what you see above the ground, it's in the unseen roots that hold it steady. Chosen one, your roots are in God. Every trial you've faced has been pushing your roots deeper, making sure that when the winds of this new season blow, you'll stand unshaken. And let's be real, strength doesn't always look flashy. Sometimes strength is just showing up one more day. Sometimes it's choosing faith when fear screams louder. Sometimes it's standing still when everything in you wants to run away. That quiet, steady, unshakable strength that's God in you. And it will carry you into places you never thought you could go. But here's the third gift, peace. And oh, how desperately we need peace in this world. Because let's be honest, life is loud. Bills pile up. Relationships get strained. The news is filled with chaos. And your mind feels like it's running a marathon every single day. But chosen one, Jesus promised us a peace that the world cannot give and the world cannot take away. John 1:4-7 says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid." That's not just comfort, it's a command. Don't let your heart be troubled. Don't let fear control you. Why? Because His peace is covering you. This peace is not fragile. It's not the kind of peace that disappears the moment life gets hard. It's a fortress, a shield that guards your heart and mind. It's the kind of peace that lets you sleep at night, knowing that even if everything looks uncertain, God is still in control. And here's what makes this peace so powerful: it's contagious. People will feel it when they're around you. They'll notice how you don't get rattled by the same fears they do. They'll wonder why you're calm when everyone else is panicking. And you'll know it's not you. It's the Prince of Peace living in you. So let me tie this together. Clarity, strength, and peace, they work hand in hand. Clarity gives you vision. Strength gives you the power to pursue it. And peace keeps you steady along the way. With these three, you are unstoppable. Let me ask you, what would your life look like if you had all three right now? Imagine waking up tomorrow with total clarity about your next step. Imagine facing the day with unshakable strength, no matter what comes against you. Imagine walking through challenges with a peace so deep that nothing could steal your joy. That's not a fantasy, that's the reality God is offering you in this season. And let's be practical. That job interview you've been worried about, you're going to walk in with clarity, knowing who you are. You're going to walk in with strength, confident that God has equipped you. And you're going to walk in with peace, unshaken by anxiety. That tough conversation you've been avoiding, you'll face it with clarity of mind, strength of heart, and peace of spirit. That dream you've been hesitant to chase, you'll pursue it with a clear vision, supernatural endurance, and a calm confidence that God's got you covered. Chosen one, this is your portion. This is your inheritance. Clarity, strength, and peace are not luxuries, they're promises, and they are yours to claim. So here's what I want you to do right now. If this message is stirring something in your spirit, if you're ready to walk in God's clarity, strength, and peace, then make that declaration. Hit that like button as your act of faith. Subscribe to stand shoulder to shoulder with thousands of chosen ones claiming their inheritance. And type 777-inch the comments as your public proclamation. I receive clarity. I receive strength. I receive peace. I am ready. Because chosen one, you're not walking into this new season blind. You're not walking weakly. You're not walking in anxiety. You are walking in clarity that lights the path, strength that carries the weight, and peace that guards your heart. Lift your head, breathe deeply, and step forward with confidence. Because God has given you everything you need to not only survive this season, but to thrive in it. This is your moment. Walk in clarity, walk in strength, walk in peace, and watch what happens when heaven backs every step you take. Family, we've walked together through clarity, strength, and peace, but now we need to talk about something that makes many people uncomfortable. Yet, it is central to God's heart for His children: abundance and overflow. Chosen one, let me make this clear. God never intended for you to merely scrape by. You were not created to live in constant lack, fear, or barely surviving from day to day. The God who created galaxies, who filled oceans, who designed a world overflowing with resources, did not forget to provide for you. His plan for you has always been one of abundance. But let's pause, because abundance is often misunderstood. The world reduces abundance to money alone. And while finances are a part of it, true abundance in God goes far deeper. It's about overflowing in every area of your life: your health, your relationships, your peace, your joy, your opportunities, and yes, your resources too. Jesus said in John 10:10, I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. Some translations say life is more abundant. That's His promise, not half a life. not a life of constant lack, a full, abundant, overflowing life. But let's be honest, you've had seasons where that didn't feel true. You've looked at your bank account and wondered how the bills would get paid. You've looked at your body and longed for healing. You've felt lonely in relationships and questioned your worth. You've cried out, God, is this really the abundant life you promised? And here's the truth, those seasons were real, but they were not permanent. They were part of your preparation, not your destination. Because abundance is not random, it is divine timing. It comes when God knows you're ready to steward it well. Let me give you an image. Imagine a cup under a waterfall. At first, the cup is empty. Then drops begin to fill it, slowly, steadily, until the water reaches the brim. And then something happens, it begins to overflow. The cup is no longer just filled for itself. The water spills out, touching everything around it. That's what God's abundance looks like in your life. He fills you until you overflow, so that your abundance becomes a blessing to others. Think about Psalm 23, my cup overflows. David didn't say my cup is barely full. He said, it overflows. That's the God you serve. He's not a God of just enough, he's a God of more than enough. Now let's bring this into your life today. Where do you need abundance? Maybe it's financial bills are piling up and you've been stressed about provision. Hear this, Jehovah Jireh. Your provider is already making a way. He's aligning opportunities, bringing resources, and preparing blessings you didn't even see coming. Maybe it's health, you've felt weary, drained, maybe even hopeless. Hear this, God is not just restoring your body to function. He is renewing your strength like the eagle, filling you with vitality, energy, and life that will allow you to step fully into your calling. Maybe it's relationships you've endured, loneliness, betrayal, or heartbreak. Hear this, God is aligning divine connections. Friendships that uplift, mentors who guide, partners who walk beside you. Relationships rooted not in convenience but in covenant. Chosen one, God's abundance is not limited. It is overflowing in every area of your life. But here's what makes this even more powerful. Abundance isn't just about what you receive, it's about what you reflect. When people look at your life and see abundance, they're going to ask, how? How did you get here? How are you thriving when others are struggling? And you'll have the chance to point them to the source, to say, this isn't me, this is God's overflow in my life. Think about the feeding of the 5,000. Jesus didn't just provide enough food for everyone to eat. The Bible says everyone ate and was satisfied, and there were 12 baskets left over. That's overflowing. That's abundance. And notice this, the little boy brought only 5 loaves and 2 fish. It wasn't much, but in the hands of Jesus it became more than enough. What does that teach us? It teaches us that abundance is not about how much you start with. It's about who you place it in the hands of. When you give God your little, He multiplies it into much. So let me ask you, what 5 loaves and 2 fish do you have right now? Maybe it's a small business idea, a talent, a dream, or just the courage to keep going. Don't underestimate it. In your hands it looks small, but in God's hands it can feed multitudes. And don't miss this, abundance always carries responsibility. God doesn't pour into you so you can hoard it. He pours into you so you can overflow. Your financial blessings aren't just for luxury, they're for generosity. Your health isn't just for comfort, it's for service. Your relationships aren't just for you, they're to build communities of faith. That's why the Bible says in 2 Corinthians 9:8, and God is able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. Did you catch that? You are blessed abundantly, so that you can abound in good works. Your abundance has a mission, it's kingdom impact. But let's be practical. How do you position yourself for overflow? 3 ways. Gratitude. Thank God for what you have, even before you see more. Gratitude unlocks increase. Stewardship. Be faithful with the little. If you can manage small blessings, well, God can trust you with greater ones. Generosity. Don't wait until you have more to give. Give from where you are and watch how God multiplies it. Chosen one, your season of lack is coming to an end. The days of just enough are shifting into a season of overflow, and when it comes, it's going to flood every area of your life. Your finances, your health, your relationships, your peace, your joy. Now let me make this personal. Imagine waking up tomorrow without the stress of money. Imagine walking through your day with energy and vitality. Imagine relationships so healthy, so aligned, that they push you closer to your purpose. Imagine peace that never leaves joy, that bubbles over opportunities that keep lining up one after another. That's not wishful thinking, that's abundance. That's overflowing, and it's already on its way to you. But here's the key, you must believe it. Because God can open the floodgates, but if your cup is turned upside down, you won't receive it. Faith is what positions your heart to catch the overflow. So here's what I want you to do. If you're ready to step into God's abundance and overflow, I want you to declare it. Hit that like button as your act of faith. Subscribe to stand with thousands of chosen ones stepping into this same season. And type 777 inch the comments as your public proclamation. I receive God's abundance. I receive His overflow. My cup is ready to run over. Because chosen one, this isn't just about a better tomorrow. This is about walking in the fullness of what God intended for you all along. A life of abundance, a life of overflow, a life that doesn't just bless you, but blesses everyone connected to you. Your cup is about to overflow. The floodgates are opening, and the abundance God is pouring out is too big, too powerful, too divine to be hidden any longer. Lift your head, open your heart, and get ready to step into the overflow. Family, we've seen how God brings abundance and overflow into your life, but there's something you need in order to step into that abundance, fully courage and bold faith. Because chosen one, it's not enough to simply know that God has a plan. You must also walk into it with fearless trust, unshakable belief, and a willingness to move forward even when the path doesn't make sense. Let's be real, fear is one of the greatest weapons the enemy uses to stop God's people. Fear whispers, "You're not enough. You're going to fail. What if it doesn't work out?" Fear magnifies the obstacles, making them look bigger than your God. And if you let it, fear will paralyze you. But bold faith looks fear in the face and says, "My God is bigger." Bold faith doesn't deny that giants exist. It simply declares that giants fall. Bold faith doesn't wait until everything is perfect to move. It steps out when the waves are still crashing, when the walls are still standing, when the mountain still looks unshakable. Think about Joshua standing before the walls of Jericho. Those walls were thick, fortified, impossible by human standards. But God said, "March around them, blow the trumpets, shout, and the walls will fall." Can you imagine how foolish that must have looked to outsiders? Yet Joshua and the people obeyed in bold faith. And on the seventh day after the seventh march, the walls came crashing down. That's the power of courage and faith. It doesn't make sense, but it works because it's not rooted in human logic, it's rooted in divine instruction. Or, think about Peter again. He saw Jesus walking on water and said, "Lord, if it's you, tell me to come." And Jesus said, "Come." That was it. No safety net, no explanation of how it would work, just one word, "Come." And Peter stepped out of the boat. He walked on water not because he was fearless, but because his faith was bigger than his fear. Chosen one, God is calling you to that same kind of courage. He's saying, step out of the boat, walk through the door, Face the giant. Trust me. And the question is, will you? Because here's the truth. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward in spite of fear. Bold faith doesn't mean you never doubt. It means you refuse to let doubt control you. It means you choose to believe God's promises over the enemy's lies. And let me remind you, every great story in the Bible required courage. Moses standing before Pharaoh, David running toward Goliath, Esther enters the king's court, Daniel prayed when it was illegal, the disciples preached the gospel despite persecution. None of them had guarantees of safety, but all of them had bold faith. And because they did, the course of history was changed. So what about you? What step of courage is God asking you to take right now? Maybe it's starting that business He's been nudging you about. Maybe it's reconciling with someone you've been estranged from. Maybe it's leaving a toxic situation that's been holding you back. Maybe it's simply saying yes to the dream He placed in your heart years ago. Whatever it is, don't let fear hold you back any longer, because fear will always try to convince you to wait for the right time. But let me tell you, faith makes the time right. Faith doesn't wait for the sea to part, it steps forward and watches the sea open. Faith doesn't wait for the provision to show up, it moves and trusts that provision is already on the way. And here's what makes bold faith so powerful. It not only moves you forward, it inspires others. When people see you take courageous steps, when they watch you trust God in the face of uncertainty, their faith grows too. Your courage becomes contagious. I remember hearing someone say, faith is spelled R-I-S-K. Because let's be honest, faith feels risky. It feels like you're stepping out onto nothing. But the truth is, you're stepping onto the rock that cannot fail. And every risk you take in obedience to God is actually no risk at all. It's the safest place you can be. Now, let's talk about what bold faith looks like in everyday life. It looks like applying for that job, even when you don't feel qualified, trusting God to equip you. It looks like giving generously, even when your bank account says you should hold back, trusting that God will provide. It looks like sharing your testimony with someone who needs hope, even if you're afraid of rejection, trusting that God will use your story. And here's something you need to know. Bold faith pleases God. Hebrews 11:6 says, "Without faith, it is impossible to please God." Did you catch that? Impossible. You can be nice, you can be kind, you can be generous, but without faith, you cannot please Him. Why? Because faith is trust. Faith is believing He is who He says He is and will do what He says He'll do. So, chosen one, this is not the time for timid faith. This is not the time to shrink back. This is the time for courage. This is the time for bold faith that says, I don't know how, but I know who. I don't know the details, but I know the promise. And that's enough. And let me remind you of something: God has never failed you, not once. You may have faced delays, detours, disappointments, but He has always brought you through. And if He's been faithful in the past, He will be faithful in the future. Your courage is not rooted in wishful thinking, it's rooted in His proven track record. So here's my challenge to you right now. What bold step is God asking you to take? Don't just think about it, declare it. If you're ready to walk in courage and bold faith, hit that like button as your first step. Subscribe to stand with thousands of chosen ones who are moving forward in faith together. And type 777 in the comments as your public declaration: I choose courage. I choose bold faith. I will step into what God has prepared for me. Because chosen one, fear is not your portion. Doubt is not your destiny. You are called to walk in bold faith, to live with courageous trust, to rise above the lies of the enemy. This is your time. Lift your head, square your shoulders, and step forward. Not timidly, not hesitantly, but boldly, because when you move in faith, heaven moves with you, and the impossible becomes possible. So let me say it one more time: be strong, be courageous, be bold in your faith, because the God who called you is faithful, and he will not fail you. Family, as we come to this moment together, I need you to understand something deeply. This is not just another video, another word, or another encouragement. This is a divine turning point in your life. Heaven's gates are opening wide, and the blessings of God are pouring out over you in ways that cannot be stopped. I believe with all my heart that this moment you are living in right now is holy. It's set apart. It's bigger than anything you've faced before. You've prayed for this. You've cried for this. You've waited for this. And now God is saying, chosen one, the time is now. Step into it. This is not just about you receiving blessings, it's about you being transformed into a source of blessing for others. That's what makes this moment so powerful. God doesn't simply pour into you so that you can say, I'm blessed. He pours into you so you can overflow. So your life becomes a testimony, a light, a signal to everyone around you that his promises are real. Think about Abraham. God said to him in Genesis 1:2, I will bless you and you will be a blessing. Did you catch that? Not just I will bless you, but you will be a blessing. That's what's happening to you. God's abundance is not stopping with you, it's flowing through you. Your transformation will ripple outward to your family, your friends, your community, and even to people you haven't met yet. And let's be clear, this transformation cannot be hidden. When God changes you, it shows. People will notice. They'll see the way you carry yourself differently, the confidence in your walk, the peace in your eyes, the joy in your smile. They'll notice how your relationships begin to align with purpose, how your career starts to reflect calling, how your identity radiates with God's glory. It's impossible to hide what God is doing to you. Jesus said in Matthew 5:14, You are the light of the world. A city set on a hill cannot be hidden. That's you. God's light in you is about to shine so brightly that it draws others closer to Him. And here's the truth, this is not just a season of change, this is the season of harvest. You've sown seeds in tears, you've labored in faith, you've persevered in trials. And now God is saying, it's time to reap. Psalm 1:2-6-5 tells us, those who sow with tears will reap with songs of joy. This is your harvest season. The prayers you prayed in the midnight hours are about to bloom into answers. The sacrifices you made in secret are about to shine in the open. The faith you held onto when no one else understood is about to bring forth fruit beyond imagination. But this is also a season of restoration. Everything the enemy tried to steal, your joy, your health, your opportunities, your relationships, God is restoring it. And He doesn't restore halfway. Joel 2:5 says, I will restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten. Do you hear that? Not just restoring things, but restoring years. Every moment you thought was wasted, every season you thought was lost, God is redeeming it. He's turning pain into purpose, ashes into beauty, loss into testimony. And it's not just harvest, not just restoration, it's a season of living fully in God's plan. You're not going to simply survive anymore. You're going to thrive. You're going to walk in the fullness of His design for your life. That means living with purpose, walking with peace, and moving with power. That means no longer questioning, am I enough? But declaring I am chosen, and I am walking in everything God has prepared for me. Let me ask you, what would it look like for you to live fully in God's plan? To wake up every morning knowing your steps are ordered, your future is secure, your life is overflowing with meaning. That's not just a dream, it's the reality God is offering you, and it begins when you decide to trust Him completely. Because here's the call. This is the moment to walk in faith, to surrender fully, to shine as the chosen one you are. This is not the time to hold back. This is not the time to doubt. This is the time to step forward boldly into everything God has promised. Think about it. What good is an open gate if you don't walk through it? What good is a blessing if you don't claim it? What good is a calling if you don't answer it? Family, the gate of heaven is open. The blessings are pouring out. But you have to take that step. You have to say, "Yes, Lord, I trust you. Yes, Lord, I surrender. Yes, Lord, I will walk in faith." And here's the promise: as you do, you will shine. Not because you're perfect, but because you're chosen. Not because life is easy, but because God is with you. Not because you have all the answers, but because you know the one who holds them. Your light will draw people. Your story will inspire faith. Your joy will spread hope. And your life will become a living testimony that God is real, that His promises never fail, and that His love is unstoppable. So, chosen one, here is your invitation. Don't just listen to this word. Respond to it. If you believe this is your turning point, if you're ready to walk through the open gates of heaven, I want you to act in faith right now. Hit that like button as your declaration. I'm stepping into my breakthrough. Subscribe to join this family of thousands of chosen ones walking boldly into destiny. And type 777-inch, the comments, as your public proclamation. I am ready. I am chosen. I will walk in faith and shine for God's glory. This is not just a video. This is a call. A call to live differently, to believe boldly, to walk in the fullness of what God has for you. So lift your head, open your heart, take a deep breath of faith, and step forward. Because this is your season of harvest. This is your season of restoration. This is your season of fullness. The gates of heaven are open. The blessings are pouring out. The world is about to see the transformation in your life. And you are about to see what it means to truly live as a chosen one of God. Family, this is your moment. Don't hold back. Don't delay. The time is now. Step into it. Shine in it. Live it fully, because you are chosen and the world is waiting to see your light.